Hello rail fans and welcome to another Train Sim World live stream, and well, to date fairly obviously new train out for the rapid transit route, the BR.182, so we'll be having a wee play about with that. I haven't driven it at all late yet. I have had a play about with it on my main account, had a wee muck about, just explored the cab, made sure I know where the important controls are. But not actually driven it yet, so this could be really farcical, to be honest with you, or it could be awesome. Okay, nice, fairly nice looking thing, I think. What shall we do? We'll make it a nice... let's just make it a clear day so we can see what's going on. A little bit of wind, so the wind turbines are turning as we go past. That's always cool to see. Let's start at the bottom and head for the top, I think. So as I say, all I've done so far is just have a wee quick exploration of the cab, so I know where the important buttons are. The Doppelstock car at the back is the same one as the one from Rusignord, as far as I'm aware. Not actually been in it yet, but it's the same model. It's the 767.2. So straight away, master switch on, door selector to the left. Now, first thing to do is head down the back and find... oh shite, which one was it? There it is. Zifad's button is hidden away down in the cab there. Everything else that you need is up here. PZB is that one, and just remember to set your headlights. So we've got about 45 seconds to go. Make sure the train lights are turned on. Make sure the exterior lights are turned on. Reading light's just your desk light for the cab desk there. Make sure you release the direct brake as well, otherwise you'll be dragging the train when you go. Oh, I know what I forgot to turn on as well, very quickly. So we want the under the left desk. We'll turn AFB on. And we want the destination panel. And we're already running late because I was faffing about. Okay. Oh, come on. Right, this is going to be, there's going to be a lot of fumbling about here because I'm... as I say, not driven this before, so here we go. And we'll just release the PZB monitor in there. So the very, very nice soothing voice you get in this train, shouting things like Zifa and announcing the PZB and stuff. So pick it up a little bit, but we're heading into straight into a station, so probably not much point in going much faster than around 90. But I don't think I'll even get up to that speed. That's just how are we doing for time? So running a few seconds late already, but hardly surprising with a brand new train that I've never driven before. Okie dokes, let's have a quick look outside then, now that we're stopped. It's noisy, that's for sure. Quite a cool looking thing. It's a weird looking thing, it looks all stylish and futuristic around the top here. But all that sort of beige and green on the inside, that's all very 1980s looking in there, early 1990s looking. It's a bizarre machine in some ways, but very, very nice looking from the outside, I think. Well, what's all this? That's all the various technical gubbins for the yards, the guys in the yards. And then the Doppelstock wagons are just straight out of same ones as Ruhr Sig. If you've been on that, if you've not, we'll have a look at those later on. I'm doing my timekeeping even fewer favours by arsing around outside there. So release the brakes, make sure everything's off, because it felt like we were dragging a bit there coming in. Bet it wouldn't be that difficult to figure out how to play a few tunes on that on the way out to stations as well with a bit of practice. Maybe that can be one of my goals for a future stream, see how many crap tunes I can murder with the... Definitely feels like I'm dragging a brake somewhere. Yeah, there was pressure in the brake system there for some reason. Okay, so I've not actually read the manual either, I have to be honest. I'm kind of guessing what everything does based on what I know from the other German stock. So it's entirely possible there's something really important I'm missing. Okay, so it's pretty comfortable under braking. I mean, it's not shy when you start applying the brake pressure. Really, they bite. Now, I don't know if these board things now work on the Talent 2s either. I've not actually tried it yet. I've got a feeling they don't. I think the destination boards initially are only for new stock. Possibly added in later on for others. Oh, I forgot what mode I had my cursor in there. Oh, right, so let's just keep an eye on that direct brake pressure. So the direct brake released itself this time, that little gauge there, that was really weird why it was on earlier. As I said though, it's probably something that's explained in the manual, which I've not, to be fair, I only made a very cursory search for it. They don't make it easy to find them, unfortunately. I feel that's something that they could do a bit better. I think they're so used to console players who play in Sims, PC players who've been playing Sims for years are pretty used to getting shite support from developers and having to find all this stuff themselves. I don't think the console market's going to put up with that so much though. Quite rightly as well. I've never really liked it as a practice. Not when we're paying the money we are for the add-ons. But that's another rant altogether. Just I'm aware this is a very short platform. Okay, so to my surprise, okay, we're only 2 stations in, but we're still more or less on time. Markliberg Nord. Tunnels could be quite interesting because those require absolute pinpoint acceleration and braking to keep your time through them. That's before even thinking about any signals or such that we might see, because of course I've got the PZB on. If you want to get out and go for a look on the platform as well, you have to come down here and come out this door, which I won't do just now because we're getting close to moving on time. Lock the doors. And let's get going. Now, we've got another station to go first, but the speed limit change up ahead, that's a weird one. Sometimes the PZB magnet seems to be active at the sign approaching it, other times it's not. So just acknowledge it on the way through to be safe. So that's us just slowing down for a signal. As the next one might be red. Okay. It's actually a good idea to remember to centre that up every time you're done, because it won't always be the left-hand side. Mostly it's the right-hand side, in fact, I think. Further up the line we go. It's left-hand side in the urban stations, right-hand side in the rural ones, generally. Or is it the other way around? It's one way and another the other. So I know what I mean. I was kind of hoping you might see more traffic as well, but again, we're only a few minutes in, we're plenty of time yet. Now, door locking should work even if you've returned that switch to the centre position. Maybe it doesn't. Okay, so lock the doors and then return it to the position. That's fine, now I know that. So just release the PZB monitoring because it's a clear signal. We're fine. Oh shit. Okay. So we're not fine. I forgot to do something there. Not a big deal. So we should just need to wait for the brakes to recharge, and theory just release that and off we go. I don't know what it was that I didn't acknowledge. There's obviously something I forgot to press or I ignored on the way out. I hope anyway, because PZB's worked pretty flawlessly since the update. It would be disappointing if something was broken with it again. So just going to increase to 80 just now because there's a signpost up here which has a PZB magnet next to it. Sometimes it's on, sometimes it's not. So just to be on the safe side this time. Nope, nothing this time. As I say, I'm not 100% what the criteria are for it being on. Okay. So 1 PZB penalty later, and we're a couple of minutes behind time, so not too worried about that. You can usually get it back on the northern stretch, and considering I've never touched this train before, I'll take anything within 5 minutes by the end is good. And happily, you don't have to walk all the way down the back to do those lights anymore either. Right, let's get ready to go. It's a pretty cool noise when you start up. I do like that wee tune it plays. Tune, scale, same thing. Okay, I should have left enough room at the back there. It's lengthwise, it's longer than a single talent 2. It's shorter than a doubled up talent 2. Oh shit, why are my doors not unlocked? Because I've got the wrong fucking side selected. There we go, that's going to take some getting used to. Meanwhile, we'll lock the right hand side doors up as well, otherwise the train won't move once we start. Oh. How late are we running now? About 2 minutes. So that should have closed the right hand doors up. Yep. Need to remember to start resetting that switch after each use. Right. Let's try that again. Oh, more buttons to press there that I didn't know about. Right, okay. So we're going a bit downhill this time, so... we go. Fairly hard on the brake in there. Just let it roll forward to make sure I'm completely in. Right, I need to come up with a better system for these switches. I need to come up with a method or a technique just to get used to having those set, because I'm losing time just sitting here fanning about with them. Really nice to drive though, has to be said. Very similar performance to the 146, the 185. But, don't know what it'll be like pulling out a freight train. Apparently we're getting to do that with them at some point. If you've got rear sig or MSB, you'll get to use this, allegedly. That could be quite interesting. But for the moment, it's really nice just having more stock on rapid transit, because it did feel like the most, or the least varied of the routes at one point. Right, so I've got the door selector in the right place. Yeah, doors will lock up. There's no warning that the doors are shut or open that I can see, other than this debris up here. Hey Stephen, how are you, mate? Thanks for joining. Good to see you. Playing with me new toy. I did, and I saw it just as I was loading YouTube up to do this, because obviously I use it to monitor the chat rather than have it on my screen. So I've not actually, the stream had already started at that point, so I didn't want to spend ages sat looking through an old video. I'll keep an eye out for it when we get up towards Greppin though. Shit, what am I doing? I'm braking way too early. Okay, so this train is quite tasty on the brakes, it has to be said. Oh, door switch. I might actually just be quicker using the shortcut, even though I don't want to. Yeah, when I get to Greppin, I'm gonna have a wee look as we go past. Shit, why are these doors not unlocking? Did I close them instead? Right, okay. So this is heading to be a pretty shite run so far. Right, so the door that I was showed earlier, there it is there. You actually have to press the button to get off the train. You can't just walk through that doorway. And you have to sort of climb the steps to get on board. That's the door for the other side, obviously. And let's just get ourselves settled back down. Right, yeah, well, it was on the northbound, wasn't it, that happened. Didn't even check how far behind time I'm running now. That's off the DTG. The trains are getting better and better. Yeah, I definitely are. Hopefully when the creation kit goes live and third parties are actually starting to make stuff, little competition's not a bad thing. Hopefully that'll push them to do even better. I don't even know if we're getting those for console. There's no technical reason they can't. Bethesda seem to manage it just fine. But even if it's only on the PC that they're getting rivaled, it's got to be good for everybody. Oh, I just jumped straight into this, man. I couldn't contain myself. Even though I probably could do with a bit more route familiarisation. It's brilliant seeing a bit of variety on this line as well. Although my understanding is that it is actually pretty much the S-Bahn is all Talent 2s. There are other trains on this line, but these days it is just Talent 2s on the S-Bahn. Cool sounding horn as well. It's not a clown car horn. Love it. Hi Nick, welcome man. Good afternoon. Thanks for joining. Just having a wee play with the 182 here. Tell you what, this train's got a much more soothing voice as well than the other ones that just. The 185 in particular, it just sounds like it's angry with you and shouting. Whereas this one's sort of, I don't know, coaxing you, teasing you, coercing you into doing it. Probably a wee bit sharpish on the brakes there. Right, so we'll get rid of some of these lights now, because I don't think we'll need them again. Turn the headlights down a bit. Yeah, that does look much better, doesn't it? Mixed traffic. Not actually played with the brightness buttons on the thing at all. I think the PSN name is just the same as the YouTube account name, is it not? I'll have a check. Oh no, it's different, isn't it? Because I couldn't have that one. Right, I'll have a look at my profile screen in a second. Although I've got to be honest, I don't really use this account for anything other than train sim, has to be said. Right, I don't think that speed limit needed an acknowledgement. The AFB lever is just a little bit more sensitive than it was in the 185 as well, I think. Holy shit, this thing gets up to speed in a hurry. I'll check when I'll bring my profile screen up at the next station. How's that? I'll double check there. Oh, look at the potential top speed of this thing as well. I wonder if that's an actual possible top speed. Of course, anything over 160 would require LZB, which I don't believe is fitted to the trains in the game. $233, that's pretty good. Okay, and open. Right. It's yeah, it's train guy. There I am at the top in the centre. Oh, you won't be able to see this screen. Yeah, it's just train guy. 2 words. Capital T, capital G. Right, yeah, sorry, I paused the game there. Yeah, it's train guy, capital T, capital G, just as you spelled it on the thing there. Right, it's gone awfully quiet. Is my sound alright, or is that something that's happened because of... whether that's because I changed screens or whether it's just that... Oh, it's maybe just the motor's gone to sleep for a while. Yeah, it's just the cooling motor gone to sleep, that's fine. I just get nervous when there's not like miscellaneous engine noises going on in the background, even if it's just like the popping and the clicking of something cooling down, you know? Right. Ooh, I got a reward. I drove 18.2 kilometres in a BR.182. Right, line speed time. There's still a little residual pressure in that system there. Yeah, I wonder why that direct brake valve keeps filling. So that little gauge there on the right is worth keeping an eye on, because that goes up slightly. You need to release your direct brake, and I'm not sure what's causing that. Oh, it bounces around a lot. Get it rocking and rolling along here. This is very cool. Oh, I'm very much liking the cab sway effect. I've got that pretty good. Right, so high speed stops are going to take a little bit of planning, I think. Right, so the braking's definitely more effective than the Talent 2, that's for sure. Wonder if it's because I'm leaving the brakes on too high for too long. That might be it, because I'm pretty sure you're supposed to return them to to 1B. Right, let's see. I think I might already have done that, Nick, but if I've not, I will subscribe after I've finished with this. I promise. Well, I maybe did that with another account. It depends if they've put more services in or not. It's not faster in terms of its top speed isn't any quicker, because although this dial goes much higher, I don't think the line speed exceeds 160, but PZB restricts you to about that anyway. If you touch 165, the brakes will kick in, and it's not equipped with LZB, so speed-wise there's not going to be that much of a difference, really. And the main thing is going to be, did they add more services to the timetable, or do the 182 services substitute an existing one? It looks like they're running at times that weren't on the timetable before, so I think they've been slotted in around the existing ones. I could be wrong. This is literally my first runs, and I've played so little Rapid Transit, I don't really have much to compare it to, if I'm being truthful. But we'll keep an eye out for traffic as we go. And obviously I'll be playing a lot more of this over the weekend and what have you. So I'm just going to have my cursor hovering, ready to respond to the AFB. It's a much better view from the cab though. Oh yeah, you can actually see what's around you. Whereas before, the Talent 2, for all that it does well, is very, very hemmed in.
Zugfahrt, Zug beeinflusst.
Right, so let's just...
Zielfahrt, Zug beeinflusst.
Right, okay. Close enough. Oh, right, that's what I'm doing wrong as well. I'm fucking closing them instead of opening them. Oh jeez, oh it's noisy in here. Oh, that's cool, all the wee coupling gear and stuff there. I don't think you can actually... Oh, you could manually uncouple them if you wanted to. I saw... Oh shit, am I stuck in here now? I thought I was trapped under the platform. Door's not there, door's there. How good's that? The horn works off a pedal. No wonder I couldn't find a lever. Right, it's... oh, I didn't have the throttle closed. Jesus, I'm supposed to be at the next station already. Yeah, I never expected the first run to be flawless, to be fair. Right, that's 3 trains we've seen in fairly short succession. That's unusual by the previous standards of the route, I would say. We passed one south of the tunnels, I think. Or was it just north of the tunnel we ran into? I'm sure I heard one going past in the tunnels as well. And that's another, what, 2 we've seen since we came out? So I think, yes, there probably is more traffic on the route now. Which is sorely needed.
Zielfahrt, Zug beeinflusst.
Right, oh shit, get ready to slow the train down, methinks.
Zug beeinflusst.
Oh, I've left that too late.
Zug beeinflusst.
No, I haven't. Yeah, wee beauty. Cool. Right, note to self, be way more aggressive on the brakes. Aha, now. This is new as well. Sound changes. Open the window and it gets louder till the engine stops. So quite a lot of internal cameras as well. I won't go through them all individually. You've got the under desk panels there for the AFB, and there's something under the right hand side as well. I can't even remember what it is. Oh, the PZB mode switch and the windscreen wipers are down there. You've got the fuse boxes and stuff as well. But as usual, most of the time will be spent, most likely, in this view here. Now, nice long run ahead of us here. And in all likelihood, probably not much chance of seeing yellows because I'm already running a few minutes behind time. Anything that was ahead of me is likely to have long since cleared the blocks ahead.
SIFA, Zugbeemusik.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah, I see how that works, that's cool. I wondered why it wouldn't change. I thought that was a bit of a step back for them. Oh! I changed things. Right, I better stop fucking about with that and watching the line, eh? Because I'm going to go blasting past something here.
SIFA, Zugbeemusik.
Oh, fuck me, what do you know? I never realised how much countryside and stuff there was around this line. I've never seen half this stuff. Oh, is that a yellow up in the distance there? No. I mean, shit, there's towns and farms and everything by the... Wow!
SIFA, Zugbeemusik.
Huh. And I always thought there was nothing to see on this route. Genuinely, the one complaint I always had about this was that you could see so little of it.
SIFA, Zugbeemusik.
So, now there's a solar farm on another route as well, because I've seen one of those. Don't actually know if they do that in Germany, but I know from being stood at platforms in the UK, often a high-speed train coming through will give a blast on its horn as it approaches that last sort of 500 yards or so. Just so it doesn't scare the living bejesus out of anyone standing not paying attention.
beeinflussen.
Okay, so there is a speed limit change approaching, which I'm going to be watching like a hawk for. Because that magnet will be guarded, or the signal, whatever it is the signal.
Zug beeinflussen.
Okay, that was actually fairly easy to manage. Once you get into the flow of AFB, brake, reduce the throttle, etc., etc., just setting up the approach to the signal, then you're laughing.
Zug beeinflussen.
In fact, I don't think I need to be down to 60 just yet. Because the signal itself was clear as I went past. I've not seen a yellow.
Zug beeinflussen.
Just 20 kilometres an hour doesn't sound like a lot, but over nearly 2 kilometres it's worth quite a chunk of time running at 80 as opposed to 60. So it's still green, and again that's just the reduce at the next signal. I still need to acknowledge this one, no? I think. Oh no, I don't. I'm still confused by the KS signalling. So I even doubt press the button as you go past. That to me was one that I would have thought, because it had the NE2 plate at the bottom, suggests to me it should have been acknowledged, but seems not.
Zug beeinflussen.
Well, it's actually quite a long platform here anyway. Right, so from 60k I can do, you can stop comfortably in 100 metres or so.
Tiefer.
Right, that's open scope, duh. That's useful to know. So I waited until I was basically at 100 metres from the stop point to brake from around 65, made it comfortably. So there you go, there's a handy pointer reference for approaching the stations. I know that the Talent 2 from 65, to do it without, you can do it from 100 metres, but to do it with sort of medium braking, comfortable braking, the Talent 2, you would need to start doing that a couple of 100 metres out. Apologies for the rustle in the background, is me trying to fuel my unhealthy habit while I'm waiting. It's smoking, by the way, for anybody sitting picturing me with a wrap of heroin or something there. That's not what I was doing at all. Right, okay. This is where I got busted the last time, and I can already see something that I think might have been the culprit. Let's just proceed at 40. I think it is the yellow number 6 at the bottom there that is looking for the acknowledgement. Oh, it's a D. It wasn't a 6.
Zug beeinflussen.
Right, there's nothing there.
Beeinflussen.
Was it there that happened?
Zug
Ah,
beeinflussen.
it was when I crossed over onto this line, wasn't it?
Zug beeinflussen.
Right, I'm just acknowledging, like, fuck the whole way through.
Zug beeinflussen. Zug beeinflussen.
I was going to press the button the whole way through here and see if I trigger anything.
Zug beeinflussen.
Was it there or was it further up? I can't honestly remember where it happened, man. I remember it happening, but I don't remember where exactly. It's not that one.
Zug beeinflussen.
Leaving Greppin, right.
Zug beeinflussen.
I will pay extra special attention leaving Greppin.
FIFA. FIFA beeinflussen.
Right, I am making time back up, but I could probably be being way more aggressive than I am on the brakes. I don't think that needed it, so wasn't that. So I've gone from nearly 3 minutes behind to just over a minute and a half, really. But I'm braking like a total Jesse, so I need to get a bit braver with that, I think. What you tend to, or what I tend to find with any new train is after I've had a few PZB encounters with it, that I get more confident with the brakes, and then from there you can kind of do quicker and quicker approaches into stations. Right, so there's nothing immediately apparent on that signal mast at the moment. Of course, it might have just been specific to that one service. It doesn't mean that the signal conditions are going to be the same here. I will go back and have a wee look at that clip though. Right. Had the brakes on for an awfully long time. That seems to be even those ones. Right, so there again, there's still a little bit of pressure left in the direct brake. So I'm acknowledging, 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 acknowledging. No, 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 no.
Zug beeinflussen.
Right, so I'm well clear of that signal with no magnets. Right, awesome. I did see the timestamp, 55 something. I will have a look afterwards and see if I can figure it out. I like trying to figure out these wee things with the signalling. So I'll maybe go back and recreate the route if I can't work it out from the footage.
FIFA. Zug beeinflussen.
Nope, that doesn't need it.
Zugbeeinflussung.
I'm just acknowledging them all just in case now. Oh fuck, I had the wrong brakes selected. I still had the direct brake selected. What a moron. No way I could have recovered that with the talent too, so
FIFA. Zugbeeinflussung.
I don't imagine that was particularly comfortable for whoever was sitting in 32C, but it was doable. Oh, open. Why do I keep going to close them? This I do not understand. Right, so that starts to release that brake pressure a little bit. There is a manual for this, I think, somewhere, but they make it really, really hard to find them. Pisses me off that they don't make them too easy to find. I mean, Christ, you could put a link to it in the information page on the PlayStation menu, for goodness sake. Wouldn't kill them. But I think it's because they like publishing them as PDFs, and I don't know that the PlayStation does very well with those. Right, again, I don't think any of this stuff here needs acknowledged. No, there's not even a magnet trackside there, so don't bother. Now, this is the sneaky one where that 120 km/h zone that's counting down, immediately behind the start of that, there's another speed limit sign. Right, so I could have gone a little bit quicker, I guess, that last couple 100 meters, but it's weird having to operate so many controls on this route. Very, very stark contrast. I mean, you can run it without AFB. You don't have to use AFB or PZB or any of that stuff if you don't want it. This is certainly a much higher workload than the Talent 2. Oh, another train coming into the station. Oh, we'll not go too high up. Hey, welcome back, man. It's your PSN train sim guy. No, I think it's just train. I think it's just train guy. I ended up, when I made all these accounts, I did them on the same day, and it turned out that I couldn't have the same username on all three platforms, and they've all ended up slightly different. I'm fairly certain that my PSN ID is just Train Guy, and then I've got, I think I maybe put the wrong name in the player profile or something within the game. I can't honestly remember what I did 6 months ago with the usernames. I do know that they're slightly different on each of the accounts. Thing is, I never go and watch them back. I just switch it all on and play the game. So I don't really think too much about what name's on what actual, what account and what not. Right, so it's still under that 70 restriction. Oh wow, those wee streets go on for miles.
Schiefer, Zugbeemusik.
Look at all this stuff that you never knew was there. I genuinely had no idea about half this stuff. The whole villages and things that I had no idea existed along this route.
Zugbeeinflussung.
Oh, that's well noisy. Not sure I like that too much. It's cool, but I can't actually, it's so loud that I can't actually hear myself. Which is probably quite important that I'm able to.
Schiefer, Zugbeeinflussung.
Right, I'm going to try and be a bit more, even more aggressive this time. I'm just going to let AFB do the initial brake.
Schiefer, Zugbeeinflussung.
Right, could probably do that even later and more aggressively if I needed to. Oh, that door selector switch is in such a crap place. Oh, there's another collectible that I've never got. I do like the look of it. It's a very, very, very nice looking machine. Dare I say it, far more pleasant than any of the dirty big noisy boxes that we've got on our network. Love them to bits, the big diesels, but this thing certainly looks the business, that's for sure. Love that wee tune. Okay, so 10 kilometres to go, but I think the rest of this line is actually 120, so it's probably reasonably safe to... You can see the levers moving in the cab in time with the...
Zugbeeinflussung.
Yeah, like that. Small details tickle me. Ah, that's where the instrument lighting is. Okay. The horrible sort of rubber button type display, very popular in the 90s. Cheeky wee talent too going by.
Zugbeeinflussung.
Good lord. There's stuff at the side of the tracks, even if it is only more trees. Keep half an eye on the track ahead, I suppose, but...
Zugbeeinflussung.
Clipboard thing here. Yeah, blinds and stuff all work as they're supposed to. Door controls and horn controls over there as well. Ah, okay, so it does have the clown car horn. All that you're doing is you're... Ah, right, sounds them both together.
Zugbeeinflussung.
Oh, I know where I can check the PlayStation ID. I can check that on my... 'Cause I think I know what where it's saying train guy. I think I put that in maybe as my real name for the account, so that's what I see. Let's have a look. I will be on my own friends list on my main account, and I can look at that from my phone. Marvels of modern technology. Right, I don't know, maybe... You just know this is where I'm going to get blasted by PZB or something when I'm mucking about with my other devices. Didn't realise there was a big canal there as well. Right, let me get signed into my phone here. Probably much easier ways of doing all this, but being a bit of an old bastard, I do it all the low-tech way. Oh, that's why none of my controls are working. Right, so we'll just reset that. Okay, still a tiny bit of pressure in that brake valve there, so we'll just let that go. And it's the terminus station for this line, so high chance of signalage on the way. And I haven't really seen any on the way up, but I was running late from pretty much the beginning, so only really expect to see signals if you're keeping really good time, I think. Especially when there's no sort of heavy trains or stuff crossing the lines or anything to complicate matters. Zugbeeeinflussung. Oh, baby. Okay, so we've got a flashy one, which means a slowy doony one. Now it says 130 on that signal. I'm not convinced that's what the deal is there, or whether that's completely unrelated to the I don't know if it's the flashing signal I'm acknowledging there, or whether it's the speed limit. I think it's just the signal, and again it seems to be a wee bit inconsistent, because sometimes it wants you to acknowledge it, other times it doesn't seem to be that fast. I suspect the most likely explanation for that is more that I can't tell the distance between a main and a distant yet, or I'm not always telling the difference between the mains and the distance properly. So just aware that there might be a 500 hertz magnet active ahead, so I'm going slow enough for it. I'm allowed to be doing 65, but just ready to react. In fact, as we pull into the station, we'll just reduce further. 45 is the maximum speed under a 500 hertz magnet, so that gives us a wee cushion. In fact, with the throttle off, it's not going to accelerate again, so... And the 500 hertz should come on now. There we go.
Zugbeemusik.
Oh. Right, let's try this again. Oh, locky, locky. Okay, so that's the first service completed. So, right, where it's got my name there on the screen is me PlayStation ID, isn't it? Yeah. Aye, that's my PlayStation ID there. I do apologise for the confusion about my own PlayStation ID. As I say, I normally just fire it up and start playing the game. I don't really pay much attention to these things. I've got it all written down somewhere just in case, but... Right, okay, so that's one way done. I want to have a shot at the 767. What do I want to do? What do I want to do? Quick doing menu. Hi there, Ritesh. Welcome. Thanks for joining. Sorry if I don't answer instantly. I don't actually have my chat on the game screen. I've got it on another gadget next to me, so that I can concentrate on the tracks and stuff. So I'm not ignoring you if I don't say anything straight away. I just haven't noticed it. Right, let's try going the other way now. Let's have a nice summer day. I think these are all slightly different times from the existing Talent 2 services. So I want to do a southbound. Right, 7:50. That should be like heading into peak time for the route, so it should actually be fairly busy, or get busier as we're heading down the line around that time. Loading, loading, loading. Right, so reverse or forward. Do I have a door selector on this one? Yeah, I do. Now, this should work. Turn it on, destination service. Leipzig Convits, that's perfect. I'll put Zifa on for this one, I think. DZB on, just make sure all these switches are where they should be. That should be set. Train line power is not always on. Do a brake check. Door selector where it should be. Coach lights on. Headlights reduced or normal. Instrument lights on as you see fit. And always remember this little key here, because I always forget that and then wonder why it's not moving. And everything else should be set where it needs to be. The light selector is fine, yep. Alright. First time driving the Doppelstock on Rursig, I want to say Rursig Rapid Transit. Right, let's go. I've not tried switching ends or anything like that. I don't even know if they do turn around and go back the way they came, or whether they then drive off the end of the map. I'll have a play about with that over the next few days. I didn't want to try doing an end change in a thing I've never driven before anyway. Oh look, there's like builders' yards and stuff. Good lord, it is almost like having a new route with this train. Oh, bit fast. Naughty, naughty. Ah, back to clown cars. Right, it should be a fairly simple approach. I don't think there's any signals or anything. We're not going that fast. And fucking idiot people walking out on the crossing there. None happens if you hit them, it's just, it's a glitch. And let's just, here's good. Cool. Superman. No, not quite, mate. Appreciate the sentiment, but far from Superman. Okay, so I keep forgetting it's a slightly longer stopping time on these old routes. Okay, you've got a couple of seconds in hand. Let's just get closed up. And off we pop. Okay, so we didn't stop at Mark on the way up, so it's a different set of stops on the way down. And oh, there's the solar farm. That's kind of cool. Never noticed that either. Oh. Keep forgetting that it's not direct applied power when you like it's not like a combined handle like the Talent 2 where the deceleration stops instantly. It'll take a wee bit of getting used to it. Having to concentrate as well on the track side because I can't remember where any of the signals are up here. Face, not sure what you mean by face camera. If you mean do I have one? No, I don't. I have got what you would call a face fit for radio, so I don't bother with any of that. Seriously, hardly anybody watches this anyway. If I started sticking my ugly mug in the corner, I would destroy it totally. Let's take a chance and hop outside while we're between signals. Very nearly missed a CIFA alert there. I just noticed the light coming on. So that's not... that still seems to be a thing where it can go when you're outside and you won't hear it. And... unfortunately too far away to hear the cool little tune that the loco plays when it pulls away from up here, but... still just awesome having something different to drive on this line. And it is a decent train. I know that some people have been a bit we've already got the Doppel stock, they're charging us for something we've already got. And I get why a lot of people are going to think 12 quid's a lot of money to pay for a single train, but it's... I'll get my money's worth out of it, I know that. Forgetting to do my door opener thing again, but never mind. So, half a minute early. Get out and go for a wee look. Not that I think there's terribly much to see here. We've got until 8:42. There's bugger all here. It's literally just a platform and a gateway down at the bottom. It doesn't put the rear lights on automatically on this. That's annoying. Where's the light switch again? Right, okay, there's something else I must need to press, but I'm not going to spend too much time up there messing around with it now. On my way! Oh, fudge. Pressing all the wrong buttons. Right, all that time that I had in hand, I think I've just thrown it pretty much all the way. Right, it's the same Dostal wagon as Rursig, yes. Which is exactly the same as the one on main Spessartbahn, actually. The only difference between the 766-4 and the 767-2 is about half a dozen first class seats. So there'll be speed limits coming up around Jesnitz, that much I do remember. Just keeping a wee eye on the speed there. I'm not giving myself my usual 5k cushion necessarily, just because I'm aware I'm going to lose a lot of time through sheer noobishness of having this train on this line for the first time. Is it the same username, Nick, that you use on PS4 as you do on this? Which reminds me, by the way, I completely misunderstood what you were saying a few days ago about streaming. I just thought, how the hell do you stream Train Sim World? My brain was switched off. I had a wee look at your channel. I see you've got some games that I've got as well. I don't necessarily have any of them installed at the moment. But if I do ever reinstall Ghost Recon or GT or something like that, then yeah, I'd be game for doing something like that. I've got an OG original PS4 though, and I'm kind of tight on hard drive space, so I don't always have everything installed. Board is set up the front. It doesn't look, I'm not sure if it automatically does the rear one when you do the front one. I think there's a signal up ahead and there's a speed limit, so let me just get past that. Yeah, let me just quickly hop out. So the destination board is set. I'm not sure if it does the back one automatically or not. So it does, yeah. So it's just the lights that don't come on automatically. Oh, it probably is, man. I didn't do the setup. I just jumped into it from the menu. That's what it is. I don't know what specifically the reason is for that. Why it's always the rear pantograph that you use. I presume there is a technical reason for that. I'm not going to get out and change it. Shame the lights, the tail lights aren't set as well. But no, never mind. Thing is, I mean, I spend most of my time up in the cab anyway, watching for signals and stuff, so I don't get too irritated by things like this, as a general rule. If I'm not on stream, I'm almost never out of the cab. Okay, so far so good. Doesn't feel like they've made any substantial changes to the Dosto either. It drives pretty much as you would expect. Brakes and accelerates more or less in line with the loco pushing it as it should. It's got a lot more oomph than the 185, the 146 does. Or the 143 as well, from RSN. This is on other routes with this loco, you can leave it pretty late to sort of kill the acceleration. Whereas this one, it seems to carry it through for a wee while. Oh, the manual for the 182, is that up on I can think him in the whatever the hell it is they use. Come on, click spot. It's because I've got a cigarette in the same hand I'm trying to work the stick with. Cool, man, thank you. I'll make sure to grab that. I should have probably had that before I started doing this, to be honest, but I figured once you've seen one doppelstock, you've seen them all. And I only had a couple of moments of confusion on the 182, so it's similar enough actually. If you know the 146 and the 185 well enough, switches are in slightly different positions, and the CIFA switch is hidden in a bastard of a place. You can find that yourself, like I had to. But the buttons are all the same, and they're pretty easy to identify. Okay, so approaching Greppin again. It should be alright though. I will go and have a look at that other stream after this one. This will be the last run I'm doing this evening, because after this I'm away to watch another YouTube channel where I watch some bloke playing old Amstrad CPC games every Friday. So that sounds like anybody's cup of tea. The channel's called Zypho. He's in my favourite channels there. Well worth a look if you like your crumbly old 8-bit computer games. Oh, speedy, speedy. Oh, Mummy regularly gets wheeled out. That's a favourite during the requests that he quite often does, it has to be said. Just don't ask him for Bridget and you'll be alright. I was playing ATF last week, man. I've got a CPC emulator and I have got that. I was playing it the other day. It was fucking as awesome now as it was in 1986, by the way. Although my son's reaction was, how is that even fun? So yeah, if old Amstrad games are your cup of tea, well worth checking out Zypho after this. 10 o'clock on a Friday usually broadcasts. And no, I don't know him personally or anything like that. I just happen to think it's one of the best retro gaming channels around. Harrier Attack. I was playing that the other day as well, actually. Didn't play Oh Mummy because this is heresy, but I fucking hated that game. Still remember the tune though. Right, so brakes, throttle. Reason I always put the throttle back to notch 1 at this point is because if it was already open, it won't go. And for some reason it doesn't always go from closed either. It's like you have to release the brakes, then close the throttle to reset it almost. Oh, still running early, got 20 seconds to go. Oh, I didn't even notice the... That's what I like to do, is just sit and watch the talent go by. Right, we can go now as well. Okay, so no restrictions or anything like that. Everything looks okay. No problems with the brakes this time. Basically, those gauges should always read 0 when you're moving, and those needles should be in, broadly speaking, the 14 minutes past 3 position. And if there anything else, hitting that button usually sorts it. Oh, flashy green, so holy shit, that's down to 60. That's a fairly serious reduction, so we're already meeting PZB requirements, so we'll just coast a wee bit further down the line, because that is effective from the next main signal, not from there. So I think that flashy one will still be a repeater. Yeah, that's the repeater, which I don't think needs an acknowledge. This one's also a repeater, because it's got the little white light, no NE2 plate. Bet I get PZB'd now. And this one will be the main. Also needed acknowledged. Oh, way too early on the brakes there. It's that long platform that throws me. There we go. Oh, I don't think I need that many lights on, do I? Ah, that's better. No more solar panels. There must be a few of these, because I spotted one as well just south of Dessau.
Vorsicht bei der Einfahrt.
I have no idea what that means, but he said fart. With due apologies to anybody whose native language is German, the word fart will always be funny. Alright, there's a nice long stretch here. And oh, just mindful that we are leaving under restricted monitoring, so let's just release ourselves now. I don't think there's anything that I need to be acknowledging here. Pretty sure not. Nah. It's really strange not having the sound of an electric motor right behind you on this route. Right, trucking along nicely now. This thing's not getting thrown about quite as much as the 182 was. It was bouncing around like a wild thing up here last time through. And you got to watch, just as you crest this hill, you suddenly pick up a burst of speed. As long as you're ready for it, you should be okay. Of course, the danger is with PZB on that you suddenly find yourself at 165. So strange seeing those on this route, even though I'm sitting in one. So how long have we got to get there? So we're due in at, what, 4 minutes to do 7.5 kilometres. I suspect we'll be alright, unless I really bugger something up. Yeah, even this has definitely got a better view than the Talent does. I like this a lot. God, there's so much stuff at the side here that I keep saying it, but I'm constantly surprised by how little I'd seen of this route in the Talent. I feel like I should almost be annoyed at Dovetail for squandering this route for so long, but fair's fair. They came back and they fixed it. There's plenty of companies who wouldn't have done that. Oh, it's bouncing about a wee bit now as we go around the bend. So it's still out in the countryside by the looks of it. So a couple of kilometres to go. We'll just start planning ahead for the stop, paying attention for signals and things just in case. So markers are all clear, and the main's a sort of a convenient reference point for braking. tidy, 10 seconds early, give or take. Ooh, snacks and drinks. Oh, not this shit again. Right, if you fall through that gap, I can see a problem here. That's fine. Yeah, still can't go to the bog. Yeah, the main difference between the one on MSB is that those seats are all first class on main Spec Art, I think. Or it doesn't have first class on main Spec Art, rather. They're all standards. The difference is about 12 seats though, I know that. Right, let's keep going. Right, so we're approaching Leipzig now, so getting towards the end. Getting into the stoppy starty stuff, which again I've never done in this this unit before, so we're not on this line anyway. So 10-18 stopped. Ah, it's good. It's a good feeling when you get that. But you're a professional. You're supposed to be able to do that. I'm not. I've got an excuse for being crap. Yeah, I'm practically blind in one eye. Oh, was it? I'm sorry. Was it not you who said? Somebody told me they were they drove. Yeah, subway driver. It's more or less. Am I really making a fool of myself here? It's more or less the same thing. Or am I trying to compare? I don't know, like flying planes with driving lorries here. I don't know. I honestly don't know how different they are. I just assumed they would be broadly similar. So this, I take it this is like the... Oh, is this us getting towards the suburbs of the city itself? Or I don't even know how big Leipzig is, to be honest. I should really do some Google Map detective work, so I know where I am. The Great Western, I mean, I've got a rough idea when I'm entering London proper, for instance. But me German geography's a bit cack, I'm afraid. Oh man, does that not cause absolute chaos when you break down in like a tunnel or something like that? That's got to be a total pain in the ass. Because I would imagine a subway system doesn't have the same flexibility as an overland route for diversions and things like that. Certainly, if anything breaks down on the Glasgow tube, I know it's absolute mayhem, because it's basically one line that goes in a circle. Right, how are we doing for... Oh, we're doing nicely for time still. Lovely jubblies. Oh, isn't it pretty? Okay. Timekeeping going nicely as well. I'm going to have another wee look out here. I feel more inclined to explore a little bit, because I'm actually realising there's a lot more to this this route than I ever realised. Start the what scenario now? I've never done any of the scenarios on this Knight Rider. The train talk to you or something. Punktiform Zugbeeeinflussung, Michael. Right. Oh no, I don't want to close it from there too. That'll bugger it all up if I do. Wait until 33. I'm not used to this having to wait, malarkey. Being on time is a novelty on this route. Right, presumably we are sort of heading into the city itself now. Something's difficult to tell because trees next to railway lines is the norm now, for all sorts of reasons. You can't always see really, especially when you're just looking ahead down the line. You could never really see what was out there. You had this tiny little sort of almost like a sniper slot style window on the side that afforded you an absolutely crap view. It just feels like there's more. It feels more vivid, more colourful. It felt awful drab and green because that's all you could see was the green bits. Now, if I remember rightly, there's some speed limit changes and things up ahead as well, so we'll just be paying attention for those. Kind of miss AFB when you're down this end, once you get used to using it. Although it admittedly makes sudden reactions to signals and stuff a lot simpler not having that, but... Okay, so kilometre to go from full pelt. Use the tunnel as your braking reference. From full pelt we should be okay. Oh, I've got the wrong doors. Good job I noticed that before... oh, come on, clicky spot, for sake. Good job we were a bit early. Let's have a wee play with the destination panel, see what's all on it. Now, it's these ones here that aren't currently on any routes. Frankfurt, Bamberg, I don't know where they are. Frankfurt, I think, is at one end of main Spessart ban. So that's interesting that that's there. Gmunden we know about, Lohr, Heiligenbrücken we know about, Schweinfurt. That's not on any of the routes. Wiesbaden isn't either, as far as I know, neither's Würzburg. So, I'm curious if those are little clues about what we'll be getting next. I've still got quite a bit of time to wait, actually. We're doing nicely for time. Oh. Nicely enough for the driver to start assembling a quick cigarette that he's not going to have time to finish rolling. But oh fuck, I would have as well if I'd had a filter handy. Sure that's what everybody's watching for, a running commentary of how I roll my cigarettes. Right, excuse me, that was pretty minging, sorry. Oh, didn't close the throttle. Right, here we go. No restrictions, so we can just get up to speed. Be good if it was going to mean one massive route linking. Well, I mean, they have said on more than one stream and one developer blog thing that the length has nothing to do with the restrictions of console memory, because the way that the game loads the route in, it's only ever doing a bit at a time. So there's no technical reason that they couldn't make them as long as they wanted. The reason that they are the length they are is simply so that they need to be able to produce one every 3 months or so. Oh, not paying attention again, naughty naughty. They basically need to produce them every, like, quite oh, what's this? That didn't need acknowledging, but we are dropping to 90 from the next main signal. Yeah, there's no technical reason they couldn't do it, other than if they spend all that time making a route, then they're not getting any income. And they are they're like a tiny company with 50 employees, you know what I mean? So I kind of grasp the situation they're in. They need to be producing, but there's no reason why in future we couldn't have something like that. I don't think that needs acknowledged, but it's worth doing as you go through. And of course it's equally possible as well that once the toolkit's in the hands of users, the players themselves produce something. And as I've said before, they at the moment do not intend to release the creation kit for the consoles, and that's fair enough, because that's Unreal. That's Epic Games are behind that. They have consistently refused to allow editing tools to be adapted for console use, because it would mean some major changes to the software seemingly. But PC users will have it, and Bethesda have already demonstrated that where there's a will, there is a way to get third-party content onto consoles. so don't assume that we will never get all that stuff as well. And Dovetail themselves have said that they would like to see the content available for everybody, if not the toolkit. Yeah, I'd forgot about Farming Sim. A game I've played a tiny little bit. I've got, the last one I've got is 18, I think, maybe. So yeah, Bethesda are the obvious one that everybody knows, with the mods for Skyrim and Fallout 4 now. But just yet another example of it can be done. I think that limit, it was a Sony thing, but it wasn't entirely their doing. Bethesda had other options, but it would have involved them giving Sony a bigger slice of the pie, and it would have involved them doing more moderation of what was going up. So while the statement is technically 100% true, it's not quite as clear-cut as that. Worth bearing in mind. Again, I mean, these are all new markets anyway. Nobody has produced software like this for the console before. Why the fuck am I not moving? So who knows what will happen? It's constantly changing and evolving marketplace anyway, isn't it? I mean, if you told me at the start of the PlayStation 3 generation that PlayStation Network would become so full of really good third-party indie games, middle shelf games, if you like, I would have probably laughed at you. Can't release just yet. I think we're actually under. I think we're under unrestricted monitoring, so we should be able to. It's 85. Can't quite see that display clearly enough sometimes for my liking. Matthew still. Hi Matthew, welcome. MSB, it's very, very good. On the surface of it, it looks. Oh, there's cool. There's definitely more traffic going on here. That's certain. It changes a lot more than it looks like it changes. It looks like it's just more reverse ignored. The physics of the freight trains is completely different for a start. And there's also a couple of cool little things that you can do in there with multiple locomotives involved in getting trains up hills and stuff. Really, really, really good route, has to be said. And the fact that you can cross the stock over between Rursig and main Spessart's also pretty good. Apparently the 182, the thing that's connected to the other end of this train just now, that's going to be available at some point for freight trains. But yeah, rapid transit definitely needed a bit more to it. It was too sparse. I think it was almost acceptable for like a beta version of the game, and if they'd released it as a DLC in the state it was, they wouldn't have got away with it, I think. Don't even know if I was early on time or what. I wasn't really paying much attention. I'm kind of reluctant to get out and go for a wander now.
Bitte achten Sie auf den Abstand zwischen Zug- und Bahnsteigkante.
No idea what that wee dude's saying. Oh, camera spawned inside the bloody wall again. It's annoying when it does that down here. It is a very nice looking piece of machinery though. Right. Okay, so we're going straight on. That's fine. Might as well just leave the selector on the left because it's going to be there the whole way through. Come on. So if this is anything like the Talent 2, the most efficient way to do this is just to bounce it off the speed limiter and back, basically. Oh, guess who forgot to turn his desk lights on? So I think did we make it in the right minute? Yeah, 47 was the arrival time, so we're still basically on time. It's going to have another look at the new toy though. Oh, she's so pretty. That should be your goal in life, guys. Find somebody who looks at you the way I look at the 182. I think I might be spending quite a lot of time on this over the weekend, so definitely, my opinion, 12 quid well spent. I've not got anything like the, I had buyer's remorse within 5 minutes of buying the BR33, definitely not the case with this one. Not that there was anything wrong with the BR33, but I think I bought it just because, oh, it's more stuff for train sim, and really 25 miles an hour and you see one other train the whole way. I just can't do Somerset. I try. I really want to like it, and I understand why people do. There's a lot of love for heritage railways, and just not really my cup of tea for train simming with, I'm afraid. A little bit enthusiastic there, perhaps. Let's just let it roll out to the end. Okay. Exciting to MSB. Yeah, the cars were really good. I really did like the traffic and stuff. I should give you a quick apology, Matthew. I don't know if this is the first one of my videos you've seen. I don't have the chat stream open on the PlayStation's screen. I've got a full game screen, and the chat's off to my right on a crappy old laptop. So if I don't respond to something, I've just not seen it yet. Probably because I drive with the PZB and the signals and all that kind of stuff. I need to kind of be focused, as regular viewers will tell you. It often goes wrong as soon as I stop paying attention. So many PZB stops. I think Long Island is the next one they're looking to add traffic to. definitely. I saw an interview with Matt Pedalston, the producer. Damned if I can remember where now. Long Island Railroad was the one that they said they would be trying to do that sort of stuff to next. So, yeah, Long Island's alright. To be honest, I would much prefer it if they got access to work properly on Long Island, but then I'm a big fan of the train safety systems and things like that. I realise it probably doesn't bother a fairly sizable amount of the player base, that the systems aren't all totally accurate on the Long Island yet. And it could frankly do with a bit more traffic as well, because that's another one that feels a bit dead and barren sometimes. Again, I suspect a part of it is just the track layout means that you don't necessarily always see passing traffic because of tunnels and other sort of geographical obstructions. But it does feel a bit empty, and at this point now, any route that's only got one train to drive, really. So I wouldn't be surprised if the next consist that they sell as DLC is maybe an American mass transit type jobby. That's just my guess. I suspect the next route, in fact, will probably be an American one. If they follow the same pattern as they have since launch anyway, that's very likely to be. What I would really like to see them do at some point is I would love to see something, maybe a French or a Japanese high-speed train. I have a feeling that that's going to take a while, because I don't think they've got quite the grasp they need on the Unreal Engine to be trying to move things at that speed. But I would like to think, I mean, they are obviously getting better with every update. There's very little debate there. It would be nice when you look at the frame rates they've managed to get when you're driving the HST on the Great Western now. They went back and redid the graphics there. And yeah, it can cope with 125 pretty nicely. The trick will be to get it going faster than that, I guess. But that's what I would really love to see, some proper high-speed trains. Okay, I usually overshoot this one. I used to have the GNER route on Microsoft Train Simulator back in the early 2000s. Loved it. Oh, I've got the wrong doors. It was really good as well, because I remember they set it was a bit like some of the things that Dovetail do, where they go a few years back. And the GNER one was set right around the time that they were switching from the old BR to the old intercity liveries to the new private ones, and it was, oh, I loved that route, because I did think the GNER livery looked really cool anyway, but absolutely loved the very late, remember the black and white intercity livery that they adopted towards the end of British Rail's days, including the Pendolino, which never ever ran in those colours, but they put one in anyway. That was a crap train, actually, because if you put in the mods that fixed all the signalling bugs, it broke the train. So it didn't get used very often, unfortunately. Right, Leipzig-Konowitz is the last stop, or Leipzig-Konowitz, sorry, is the last stop on this run. And then I think I'm going to, now we've got a speed limit there, that might need a wee, and it does, it needs a wee acknowledgement. So we can pick it up a little bit, because that's effective from the next main signal. What a difference it makes being able to drive with the PZB on and not wondering when it's going to bugger you up next on this route. Don't think that one needed an acknowledge. So the next one is expect stop, so we should really shed all that speed now. We'll just acknowledge it as we go through. Should have really been down to 40 as I went through there, but it's not the end of the world. If you're gentle enough with the brake buttons, when you get used to it, it kind of is separate in that there's about a third of a second pause before it goes that last notch. Although it is still admittedly far too easy to hit them. That said, they're quite quick and easy to recover from, certainly in the Dostal van. So this is another example of the line speed being one thing, but the actual current speed being something different. No, the 85 lamp is for normal monitoring. The flashing 85-70 or the 70-55 is restricted. It's only when the number's changing that you need to observe the lower limits. That said, because I got so used to this thing being buggy as fuck before they fixed it, it's almost habit for me to drive to the lower limit here still. I need to break that habit. Yeah, it's not always very easy to tell from this thing whether you're in restricted or normal mode, because the only way that tells you the difference, I'm going to try and zoom in on it, is it will tell you there what the current speed is, and that's how you basically tell if it's restricted or active. The best way to tell is that flashing 85-70 thing. Usually you're only in restricted mode if you are going off from a standing start, or if the speed dropped below, I think it's 15 kilometers per hour, that'll automatically trigger you going into restricted. It happened to me on a run that you watched me do, where I threw a freight train into restricted PZB because I lost so much speed on the braking. But restricted doesn't normally, it doesn't come into play that often. Not as often as you would think. It's a very specific mode for a very specific set of circumstances. And it sometimes kicks in, I've had it kick in on me in the signals around the tunnels once, and I wasn't sure how I did it because I was doing about 3 things at once, and I suspect I may have gone below that lower speed limit. That was not too bad. I don't think I was actually late anywhere, and early in a few places. That wasn't bad for the first time up there with the Doppelstock. And the man manual has 500. Right, let me just have a quick look, because I do have my PZB guide next to me. Russell. On what line are you looking at? Right, so max is, you'll see it has a number underneath it, within 153 metres. So 500 hertz start, for example, in mode O is 65 kilometres an hour. So as you pass the live 500 hertz magnet, you must be at 65. Usually 60, and the speed limits are usually going to be 60 on the signal. And just for giving yourself that 5 in your pocket, just make it 60. Once you pass the magnet, you then have 153 metres in which to lose another 15-20k and be below 45. Once you're below 45, you're fine. You can go right up to the signal almost, and depending on the braking effectiveness of your train, rather. So that start column is not talking about the train starting from a standstill. That's from the start of the magnet. The magnet zone, rather. And then the lower row is the same again for restricted mode. Now, restricted mode, if you're already under 25 kilometre an hour, i.e. you're starting from a stop, it will go into the max mode straight away. It only goes into the start mode if you are crossing that magnet from a higher speed, if you know what I mean, if that makes sense. And the same applies to the mode M and the mode U rows down at the bottom of that page there. I agree that calling that column start is confusing as hell. Took me a wee while. I had a few false starts, a few PZB busts because of that when I was first starting out. One of many things I feel that the manual could have explained slightly better, but that's another story for another day. Because that, I'm afraid, is the end of that. Thank you very much for the compliment there, Nick. That was one of my better stops, if I do say so myself, and I will pick up that friend request after the stream. I am going to end that there, because I am going to go and get something to eat before I go and watch someone else playing computer games for a while. So thanks very much, guys. I will be back online over the weekend at some point, and I'll catch you all then. Tatty bye for now.